I still remember the exact moment I realized my wife had stopped talking to me. She was standing only a few feet away in our kitchen, making coffee. I said, "Good morning." She nodded without looking at me. No smile, no question, no warmth. That silence frightened me more than any argument ever could. My name is Callan. I am 35 years old, and for almost 8 years, Mara had been the center of my world. At least, that was what I believed. But one quiet Monday morning, I discovered something painful. Loving someone and making them feel loved are not always the same thing. At that moment, I had only one goal. I had to find out why my wife was disappearing from our marriage before it was too late. For years, our life had followed the same routine. I worked as a freelance graphic designer from the small office inside our apartment. My clients lived in different countries, so my computer was almost always open. Deadlines never seemed to end. Mara worked at a local library. Every morning, she left before 9. Every evening, she came home around 6. At first, everything worked well. She often came into my office carrying coffee. "You've been working for 3 hours," she would laugh. "Time for a break." I always smiled. "I just need 20 more minutes." Those 20 minutes usually became 2 hours. Then another project arrived, another client, another deadline. I kept telling myself I was doing it for us. I wanted a better apartment, better savings, a better future. I never realized that while I was building our future, I was slowly disappearing from our present. The first real sign came on our wedding anniversary. I completely forgot it. Not because I didn't love Mara, because I honestly believed it was the following week. That afternoon, she called me. "Are you almost finished?" "I'm still working," I answered while staring at my screen. "Can you come out for dinner tonight?" "I can't. Maybe tomorrow?" There was a long silence. Then she quietly said, "Okay." She hung up. Only later that night, after opening social media, did I see an old wedding picture she had posted. 8 years today. My heart dropped. I rushed into the living room. "Mara, I'm so sorry."
She smiled. "It's okay." But it wasn't okay. From that day, something changed. Not suddenly, slowly, painfully. She stopped asking about my work, stopped waiting for me during dinner, stopped telling me funny stories from the library. She became quieter every week. I noticed it, but I convinced myself she was only tired. Then another strange thing happened. One evening, I finished work early. I walked into the living room expecting to surprise her. She wasn't there. Her phone was on the table. Her jacket was gone. I waited. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Finally, she came home. "You look worried," she said. I was. "I went for a walk." "For 3 hours?" She looked away. I needed some quiet. I wanted to ask more. Instead, I simply nodded. That answer stayed inside my head all night. Needed some quiet. From what? From work? From life? Or from me? The next week became even stranger. She started eating before I finished working. She watched movies alone. She went to bed earlier. One evening, I entered our bedroom. She was reading a book. I sat beside her. "What are you reading?" She closed the book immediately. "Nothing important." That hurt more than I expected. We used to tell each other everything. Now, even a book felt like a secret. A few days later, while cleaning the apartment, I accidentally found a small notebook inside one of the kitchen drawers. It wasn't hidden, but I had never seen it before. I wasn't planning to open it. Then I noticed my name written on one page. My hands froze. I knew I shouldn't read it, but I couldn't stop myself. The first sentence made my chest tighten. I miss my husband, even though he lives in the same apartment. I kept reading.
I don't think Callan sees me anymore. I don't think he notices when I'm happy or sad. I don't want expensive gifts. I only want his attention. I couldn't continue. I closed the notebook immediately. For several minutes, I simply sat on the kitchen floor. I wasn't angry. I wasn't defensive. I felt ashamed. How had I missed all this? That evening, I decided we had to talk. Mara? She looked up.
I found your notebook. Her face immediately changed. You read it? I'm sorry. She stayed silent. I shouldn't have.
No,
She whispered. You shouldn't have. She stood up. I finally found one place where I could be honest. Then she walked into the bedroom and quietly closed the door. I didn't follow her. For the first time, I understood that saying sorry was not enough. The following morning, she left for work before I woke up. She didn't leave a note. Didn't send a message. Nothing. I spent the entire day trying to work. I couldn't. Every design looked wrong. Every email felt meaningless. That evening, I made dinner, her favorite pasta. She came home, looked at the table. Thank you. She ate quietly. When dinner finished, she carried her plate into the kitchen. Then she said something I will never forget. Callan. Yes. I don't know if I still feel safe telling you how I feel. Those words broke something inside me. Not because they were loud, because they were true. The next morning, I canceled every project for the rest of the week. Clients were unhappy. Some left. I accepted it. Nothing mattered more. I spent hours thinking about our life. Not the big memories, the small ones. When had I last asked about her day? I couldn't remember. When had we gone for a walk together? Months ago. When had I looked at her without also checking my phone? I honestly didn't know. That evening I asked, "Can we go somewhere tomorrow?" She looked surprised. Where? I don't care. She hesitated. Finally, she nodded. We drove to the beach 2 hours away. Neither of us spoke much during the drive. The silence wasn't comfortable, but it also wasn't angry anymore. We sat on the sand, watching the waves. Finally, Mara spoke. I kept waiting for you to notice. I know. I dropped little hints. I know. I stopped asking you to spend time together. I noticed. She looked at me. No. You noticed after I stopped. She was right. Again. For a long time, we simply watched the ocean. Then she quietly asked, "Can I tell you something without you trying to fix it?" Yes. I've been lonely for almost a year. I felt tears fill my eyes. She continued, I didn't need perfect. I only needed present. Those words stayed with me. Present, not perfect. When we returned home, things didn't magically improve. We still had awkward conversations. Some days were good, others were difficult. Trust doesn't return overnight. One evening, she surprised me. I made an appointment. For what? Marriage counseling. I blinked. You want to go? She smiled a little. I wouldn't have suggested it if I wanted to leave. That tiny smile gave me more hope than anything else. Our first counseling session felt uncomfortable. The counselor asked simple questions. When was the last time you laughed together? Neither of us answered. When was your last date? Again, silence. The counselor looked at me. What usually happens after work? I keep working. And after that, I'm tired. And after that, I go to bed. She nodded gently. When exactly do you become a husband? I couldn't answer, because I didn't know. Over the next several weeks, counseling became part of our routine. We learned small habits, eating dinner together without phones, walking every Saturday morning, asking one real question every evening. Not, how was your day? What was the hardest part of your day? Or, what made you smile today? The answers slowly became longer. The silence slowly became shorter. One rainy Friday evening, I finished work, closed my laptop, walked into the living room. Mara looked up. You finished early. I did. Deadline? It can wait. She smiled. A real smile. The first one I had seen in months. What should we do? She asked. I shrugged. I honestly don't care. She laughed. That laugh filled the apartment again. It sounded familiar, like home. Several months later, our marriage was different. Not because we had become perfect, because we had become honest. We still argued. We still made mistakes. Sometimes I worked too much. Sometimes she became quiet again. But now, we noticed. Before, silence became distance. One evening we found the notebook again while cleaning. She looked embarrassed. I asked, "May I read it now?" She handed it to me. The last page was new. It had been written only a few days earlier. It said, "My husband finally came home." I looked up. "But I've always lived here." She smiled. "I know, but now you're really here." I closed the notebook, walked toward her, wrapped my arms around her. This time she didn't feel like someone slipping away. She felt like my wife again, not because we had erased the past, but because we had finally stopped pretending everything was fine. Sometimes people don't leave a relationship all at once. Sometimes they leave one quiet day at a time. One unanswered question, one canceled dinner, one forgotten conversation, until suddenly two people are living together, but feeling completely alone.